Race 2B of the BRSCC Mazda Championship. We've got Will Hayden behind me here, who's normally in the A races, however, seems to be down here in the Bs. Will, what seems to be going wrong?
The engine just isn't getting any power, unfortunately, so I'm just powering through. Hopefully can get a podium in this race, but yeah, just going to have to deal with what I've got at the moment, and then at the end of this weekend we'll get it all fixed and ready for Donington.
So you're hoping to have the widest MX-5 in the championship?
Hopefully, yeah. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to go, but yeah, definitely.
Well, best of luck.
Cheers,
have a good one. Andy, over to you to see how this turns out for him.
Thanks, Mike. Well, Will Hayden then, with a lack of power, may struggle to stay at the front of the grid, but we'll see if he can. Tim Dorr will be alongside him, with Stuart Ross-French and Bruce Robinson up there too. Matt Luff and Ivan Leary are next, then Scott Leach and Richard Wootton, whilst Nick Ledoyen and Pete Lancaster round out the top 10. Then it's Elliot Hand, Jonathan Fieldsend, Graham Rumsey looking to recover from that moment he had in race 1, ahead of Ian Whitick, then Sam Jarvis and Chris Malloy, Dale Whiteman and Richard Bartlett, and then Neil Coggan. Then we get into the retirements and disqualifications from race 1. Dave Turton, Tom Mallet, Jack Wilmot, Tom Jenkins and Christopher Ginn, with Ashley Heath right at the back, looking to try and make some progress. So, Will Hayden then on the pole position. Have they got that car fixed? And if they haven't, will he maybe be able to stay up there anyway, because he's a very rapid young peddler. Let's see what happens then. The red lights are on. We're ready to go racing here. Race 2B bursts into life at Oulton Park. The field makes its way towards Old Hall Corner for the first time, and a good start made from the inside of row number 2 there by the looks of it. That is the the number 90 car coming through, Bruce Robinson. Robinson had a really good start then, and he will take the lead into Old Hall Corner for the first time. Lots of cars out wide though, and Bruce Robinson might even lose the lead here to Will Hayden. Well, Hayden's car doesn't seem to be lacking straight line speed there, does it? He's managed to pull right alongside and reclaim the lead on the run to Cascades for the first time. So maybe they have got the car fixed, or maybe it's just one of those things that comes and goes. But either way, he was able to drive past Bruce Robinson there, and I'm pretty sure he got the lead back with Ashley Heath, meanwhile, who started right at the back of the grid after a disqualification for a driving standards infringement in race number 1. And he is already starting to make progress through the field, as you would expect, really. Ooh, off wide, there's another car on the grass in front of us, one of the AB Motorsport cars, I think that is, rattling its way back onto the circuit, so more places gained there for Ashley Heath, but will he be able to get high enough up the order to challenge for a top 10 or maybe even a top 5 transfer spot? That's the question, really. There's number 68 going through now, so Ashley already gaining some ground, but a lot more cars in front of him yet to be overtaken. Over the curbs they go then. Will Hayden leading the way. Bruce Robinson second. Ivan Leary's into third. He's had a good start from 6th on the grid. Scott Leach likewise was 7th on the grid. He's 4th now. Then it's the 173 of Stuart French. Then Richard Wootton and number 72, which is Matt Luff, who had that lurid spin on the in the early stages of race number 1B, which rather hurt his chances of getting a promotional spot, which arguably he probably could have got had he not had the spin. Field then make their way up to the top of the hill. Green and yellow car there was Tim Dorr. That's Stuart Ross-French trying to fend off Ivan Leary. So Leary has suddenly dropped down the order then on the run up the hill. So he's had a moment somewhere. Scott Leach has gone through, so has Stuart French, and now Richard Wootton tries to get alongside. To the inside then, that's covered by Leary, so he goes to the outside instead. Matt Luff, the 72 car, might be able to take advantage of this if he reads the situation right, and he's going to get a better exit from Lodge Corner than both of them. They could be 3 abreast here to the start-finish line. They almost are over the crest, but Wootton, I think, will go ahead of both of them. Then Leary and Luff will debate 5th position as they, 6th position, excuse me, as they go into Old Hall Corner, and Luff makes it dive up the inside. It was a nice move, and he made it work. Coming through behind, there's 53. The outside line, nearly on the receiving end of a tap there from Sam Jarvis. That was Jonathan Fieldsend just hanging on to the position in the blue car. There, having a look at Nick Ledoyen. This scrap still going on. The all-blue car, the dark blue there, is Dave Turton, who was a podium contender in race 1 until, unfortunately, mechanical maladies put him out of the race. Then the rest of them all queuing up behind. Thomas Jenkins, I think, was the red car trying to join in the fun down the Lakeside Straight. Indeed he is. There's Tim Dorr, meanwhile. And just behind him, the 312 is Pete Lancaster, one of the Masters contenders. Lots of Masters contenders, in fact, in this race. Will Hayden out in front, not a Masters driver, but he is mastering this race at the moment, pulling clear slightly now of the rest scrapping behind him. So the British chicane and Tim Dorr at the inside of Nick Ledoyen. That was a brave move, and he couldn't stop the car. Slithers across the grass, bounces his way back on. And rejoins ahead, and that'll be an interesting one because Nick Ledoyen will no doubt argue that he gained an advantage there from cutting across the corner, but Tim Dorton will say, well, I was in front anyway, and came back out in front, so no harm, no foul. Lots of dive bombs being attempted there into the British kid. I don't think any of them worked out though. There goes Dave Turton, number 30, through Knickerbrook corner. Next car in front of him appears to be Sam Jarvis, back with Ashley Heath meanwhile, who's just a few places behind that little group. He's got a side-by-side pair of cars right in front of him, so how's he going to read this situation into Druids? He'll try and concentrate on carrying as much speed out of this corner as he can, and then maybe have a go down at Lodge Corner. He's going to get a good run through the first apex and through the second apex there. Over the crest, car goes light, can't really see where you're going for a moment either, as the car points skywards. The number 11 car then of Sam Jarvis maintaining his position at the moment. But, there's no stopping Dave Turton at the moment, as he now pulls out to make another move now, so he is definitely inching towards the top 5 here, is Dave. Now goes up the inside of Pete Lancaster into Old Hall corner, and he's through. So, top 10 is definitely on the cards, but will he be able to make his way into a transfer spot? That will certainly be the target. Clear air now in front of him as well, so he can get his head down, stretch his legs, try to reel in the group ahead. Down to Island Bend then, Graham Rumsey there, you can see flashing through the white and red car. This time around, no side-by-side action into Ireland, which is probably for the best. It's not really a corner you want to be running side-by-side through, but it can be done successfully. Very often, though, it will end in a little bit of contact. Down to Britain's again now. The number 14 there is the yellow car just ahead of Elliot Han, who's a little bit further down than we saw in the bulk of race 1, actually, so maybe all not right with that car either, or he's just had a bad start, but the trouble is, because the cars are also evenly matched, of course, because they're built to the same set of regulations, if you are back in the pack, it's not the work of a moment to overtake the cars around you and set off up the road, so it's nothing that makes overtaking difficult, but following each other closely is fairly easy. That was a bit too close though there. That was the number 52 of Jack Wilmot trying to get through on the inside of Elliot Han. And Sam Jarvis, excuse me. Sam now does run wide out of Knickerbrook corner though, and that should be enough to allow Jack Wilmot ahead. Jack's got the inside line for Druids corner. And in the background, he's made it stick. Yes, he has. So, yeah, two almost identically liveried yellow cars. The number 14 look is a little bit further up the order, and that is Elliot Han, and then Sam Jarvis behind. Look at the way that Will Hayden's pulling away out in front though. Everybody else trying to be second. Now there are 6 cars in this battle, and only there are 5 cars in this battle, excuse me, and only 4 of them will make it through into a transfer spot, so this is of some significance. Down the avenue, Scott Leach has second place at the moment, but is under an awful lot of pressure now. To the inside there into Cascade with Stuart French, but to no avail. Then it's Richard Wootton, he's 4th, 5th place is Matt Love. He's had a good race so far from starting a bit further down the order. Back to Island Bend then through the left. Anyone going to make a move on the brakes into the Shell hairpin? It can be done. Oh yeah, Matt Love's gone for it at the inside of Richard Wootton. That was a good move. Requires a bit of compliance from the car you're overtaking. If they try and turn into the corner, then it will end in contact, but kept it clean there. That was good stuff. So Wootton losing a spot. He's now on the bubble, so to speak. He's in 5th place, and it's Bruce Robinson behind him who's going to try and knock him out of a transfer spot if he can. Remember, Bruce was leading halfway or partly around the first lap, but hasn't been able to stay that far up the order, but he's in touch with the leading 5, or the 4 cars fighting over second place, I suppose, more precisely. Back with Ashley Heath now. He's got one of these yellow cars in front of him. Which one is it, though? Can't quite see at the moment from our onboard camera. In fact, it might actually be the blue and yellow, that I think, isn't it, of Jonathan Fields there. No, and there's a car. What on earth was going on there? There are cars off everywhere. That is the 52 car of Jack Wilmot. We've also got the number 14 going slowly of Elliot Han. There's damage to the front of Wilmot's car. And how on earth did that all start? All of a sudden there was a car sort of stricken in the middle of the road. The cars off left, cars off to the right. That definitely caught people's attentions then. The third place, meanwhile, Matt Luff up the inside of Stuart French. Goes through, and Richard Wootton might take advantage of the loss of momentum from those two there to get alongside. Across the line they go, down to Old Hall Corner. Richard Wootton on the inside line, hand out of the cockpit there for Matt Luff, not quite sure why. Was he waving Stuart French through? No, I don't think so, because he breaks super late into Old Hall Corner and manages to hang on to his third position then. Despite their fighting though, Bruce Robinson isn't really able to close back in. Stuart French is back on the inside now into Cascades, where he takes third position. Great racing this, as ever, from the MX-5 Championship. They say you can't overtake at Oulton Park, but we've seen far too many overtakes in this race to keep count of already. We're only about halfway, if that. Down into Highland Bend then. Ivan Leary now is starting to pull away from it's not Ivan Leary, Scott Leach, excuse me, starting to pull away from this little group now. Up the inside comes the white and purple car of Matt Luff, back into third place again, so that's 3 positional changes between these two in 4 corners basically, and they're not quite done yet. Through the left, right, left flip-flop at the Britain chicane, over the hill once again. The Crocodile weaves its way back down into this very popular spectator area down at the Hislop chicane. There's some great spectator banking just on the right hand side of the camera, a grandstand that was erected a few years ago as well, and you can also see the Knickerbrook chicane from the infield section down there as well. Great viewing opportunities here at Oulton Park, regardless of where it is that you choose to watch from. Some great photography opportunities as well, making it popular with amateur photographers and professionals alike. One of the great things about Oulton Park is the close racing that it does produce. You can't argue with that. It's always close around here. Just sometimes, for some categories of racing, can be tricky to overtake at, but you can overtake pretty much wherever takes your fancy in one of these Mark 1 MX-5s. Case in point, as Matt Luff goes up the inside of Scott Leach and takes second place, and simultaneously Richard Wootton takes the 4th position away from Stuart French. French is not able to fight back on the exit of the corner. However, Scott Leach has fought back against Matt Luff, and they're side by side almost down to Old Hall Corner, but actually Luff, despite having appeared to have made the move sticking to Lodge Corner, slips back behind again, takes a tight line into Old Hall Corner. He's not tight on the exit though, bounces across the grass. That will possibly give Richard Wootton a chance to attack. On board with Bruce Robinson, who's got a grandstand view of all of this going on in front of him. It might be Stuart French actually that goes into 4th position. Yes, it is, ahead of Richard Wootton. Robinson would so much like to be a part of that battle, but as he can catch them in the next few laps, he's not likely to be able to get a top 5 finish. Unless, of course, any of those cars do trip over each other and fall off the circuit, which is possible. Actually, given the fact that this battle is getting more and more intense with every corner that goes by. Shell hairpin again into the banking. Back out the other side. Leach second, Luff third, French on the grass, and that will allow Richard Wootton back up the inside of him. And again, the place changes hands. We're seeing overtaking here as well, parts of the circuit that we really don't often see cars passing each other. So the loss of momentum that you get if you make a mistake somewhere, or if you lose a position or go for a move, and even if you go for an overtake and it does work, it quite often costs you so much speed coming off the corner that you're then vulnerable to attack on the exit again, which is sort of what we saw there really. So Richard Wootton then into 4th place, but right now they're just sort of debating their grid positions mainly for the 3rd race later on, because all of these 4 cars are in transfer spots at the moment. They're pulling away actually from Bruce Robinson right now. Bridge then, Scott Leach might just defend this a bit more heavily this time, but it still leaves a gap on the inside that Matt Luff is very, very happy to occupy. Again, going in on that tight line means you run wide and you're slow on the exit. Leach is doing everything to try and get back alongside, but just didn't have the momentum in the end. Back with Bruce Robinson now as we go up towards Old Hall Corner. 2 pairs of side-by-side cars in front of him, but they're getting ever further away lap by lap. He's definitely dropping back from them, as we have seen over the last few laps. There's Old Hall Corner there with some vigour. There's the number 30 car then of Dave Turton, whose progress has stagnated a little now that he's into the top 10. He's just got past Ivan Leary and Nicola Doyen. Tim Dorr appears to be his next target. That would be for, I believe, 7th place. I think he's in 8th now. Doyen 9th and Leary 10th. So he's made good progress from the very back of the grid, put Leary off the back of the grid anyway, about 20th or so. But he's not quite going to get right to the sharp end, I don't think. Which means that maybe his chance of transferring into an A grid is going to have to wait till another meeting. Of course, in race 3 there are no transfer spots because it's the last race of the weekend, so this was the last chance to get onto the A grid. I don't think Turton's quite going to get there. Out of Shell down to the Britain chicane. Leap over the curbs. The suspension takes an absolute punishing right the first time around the Oulton Park Circuit. You have to use those curbs. There's quite a lot of lap time to be gained from using them. As risky as it is, it's easy to make a mistake as well by walloping a curb a bit too hard, but that is the quickest way around the corner, so they sort of have to do it. Back towards Clay Hill, and Dave Turton has now caught Tim Dorr, so this is for 7th position. Past the water tower. Now Druids, you can overtake here, but it's probably advisable in this situation to just wait until you come off the turn and then carry your speed down to Lodge Corner. He's had a tighter line out of there, has Dave Turton. Meanwhile, up the road, it's all changed again. Look, Matt Luff has dropped down the order somehow. We'll unpack that in a minute. Now, though, can Dave Turton get past the 37 car? No, he can't. The Motorsport machine stays in front of the Mike Comber Racing organised car. Nick Doyen falling ever further behind them. Right, there's the fight for second then. Leach, Wootton, Luff and French. So that's the order now, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. I knew if we left them for a lap that it would all change around again, and indeed it has. So Leach back into P2 now. These 4 though seem very evenly matched, don't they? And they are the kind of drivers that we very regularly see at the front of the B rigs, and that's very entertaining for us. They would much rather we were seeing them at the front of the A grid, of course they would, but this is one of the great things about this format. It gives drivers a chance to fight for race victories when ordinarily they'd be fighting for about 25th place right now, so it may not be worth as many points as the A racer, but they don't really care about that too much. Matt Luff, though, is now at the inside of Richard Wootton, takes 3rd place back away. Now sets back off after Scott Leach into the closing stages then of our 2nd B race of the weekend. Blue and yellow car of Dave Turton, of Scott Leach, excuse me, now at the front of the group, fighting for the remaining transfer spots here. Luft out the inside again for 3rd place on Richard Wootton. Scott Leach out of Knickerbrook corner though, starting now to pull away ever so slightly, but Luff, I feel, is maybe a little bit quicker than him. He just hasn't been able to get to the front of that gaggle of cars yet. Let's see whether or not he can close this gap down quickly enough to have a shot at 2nd place before the checkered flag, which is not that far away now. Underneath the Paul Warwick Bridge, down into the braking zone at Lodge Corner. Who makes a move this time? Anybody? No, they stay single file. Bruce Robinson is now starting to lap a little bit quicker than them as well, so there's their continuing to hold each other up there. The white and orange car in 6th place, maybe sensing one last opportunity to fight for a transfer spot. Through they go then on to what I believe will be the penultimate lap of the race, so I think there's 2 more laps to go. No sign of a last lap call yet, that's for sure. There's Robinson, then Tim Dorr and Dave Turton still fighting over 7th place. Dorr still in front for now, but squirrely out of Old Hall Corner, but Turton stays behind him. Oh, Richard Wootton sideways. Richard Wootton very sideways. He's going to be on the grass. Oh, can he save it? Richard Wootton bounces across the grass coming out of Cascades. Now, where's Bruce Robinson? Bruce Robinson might be able to get 5th place away here after all of this. So Richard Wootton very nearly throws away. Well, he's thrown away his chance of a podium. Yes, I think Robinson has gone past him. So we'll keep an eye to that in the background. But Richard Wootton, I think, has lost out. Meanwhile, that Luff going around the outside of Scott Leach for 2nd place at the Shell hairpin. It's ambitious, but it can work, as we've seen already this weekend. They're still wheel-to-wheel now as they go towards Britain's, but no, Scott Leach stays in front. Scott Leach is the leading Masters driver in this race as well, by the way. With Bruce Robinson second place in the Masters, and yeah, now into 5th position. So Robinson has taken advantage of the mistake for Richard Wootton to take over that crucial 5th position then that could get him onto the A grid, but Wootton, I'm sure, will try and fight back, and has been quicker than Robinson really in this race. So Bruce Robinson will have to fight a rearguard action now. Make that a very wide Mazda MX-5 to keep him behind. Onto the bridge. Scott Leach then with Matt Luff breathing down his neck. Stuart French now a bit lonely in 4th. Meanwhile, Will Hayden is extremely lonely because he's about 15 seconds ahead of anybody else as he turns into Lodge Corner. The AB Motorsport squad have given him a fantastic car. He's driven it well, and it doesn't seem to be down on power to me. Best lap of a 2 minutes 7.7 is quite comfortably quicker than anyone else has been in this race, or indeed the previous B race. So Will, showing the rest of the field a clean pair of heels, is now onto his final lap of the 2.69 mile Oulton Park International Circuit. This is what 15 seconds looks like, by the way. And there finally is our second place squabble, Scott Leach and Matt Luff, with Stuart French keeping a watching brief in 4th. Ball down the avenue towards Cascades once again. Bruce Robinson we're on board with in that 5th place. This is the battle really for the promotion spot. Richard Wootton again a bit sideways into Cascades. He's not happy through that corner, is he, at the moment? That just costs him exit speed a little bit. He'll be in the slipstream now though, so that will bring him back onto the tail of Bruce Robinson, but whatever Richard's doing through Cascades, he probably needs to stop. And actually Dave Turton in 7th position now. He's got himself ahead of Tim Dorr, and he's starting to catch them slightly. Matt Luff is into 2nd place now as well, ahead of Scott Leach, and that could have been a perfectly timed manoeuvre. We are on that final lap. Leach, though, is trying to fight back at him. Can't pull alongside, though, between Shell and Britons. Didn't have enough impetus, couldn't quite get there. Hayden then into Hislops. And turns his way out of the right-hander up to Clay Hill for the final time. AB Motorsport have won a few of these B races this year. Will Hayden has been at the front in quite a few of them. It's not the kind of race win that he would like, I'm sure, but still it is a win, and he did it in pretty commanding style from the front of the grid. Never headed really, led into the first corner, never looked back, and now he's only one corner away from the race victory in race 2B. Onto the brakes, into the right-hander, through the dip, over the crest again, and then the world just drops away below your feet, and a big tail slide to finish with a flourish for Will Hayden. He comes to the start-finish line and wins race 2B in emphatic style here at Oulton Park. Nice drive that from Will, and let's hope that means that the car is now working as it should do. Now, who will be second? It was Matt Luff last time we saw them, and is it still going to be Matt? Yes, it is, just ahead of Scott Leach and Stuart French. And then what about 5th place? Is it Robinson? Yes, it is, and look at that for 6th place. It's going to be side by side between Richard Wootton and Dave Turton. Wootton gets it. Turton was denied by less than a tenth of a second there, 94/1000 between the two of them. And then Tim Dorr, Nick Ledoyen and Ivan Leary rounding out the top 10. So Will Hayden then with the victory. Matt Luff in second with Scott Leach, Stuart Ross French and Bruce Robinson filling out the rest of the transfer spots. Richard Wootton will be kicking himself after that moment at Cascades. He ends up 6th, whilst outside the top 10. Graham Rumsey was 11th, Tom Jenkins, then Pete Lancaster, Christopher Ginn and Ashley Heath 15th from the back of the grid. Good effort from him as well. Will Hayden set the fastest lap, and there were just 2 non-finishers. In white it was a non-finisher, and Tom Jenkins actually failed to start the race.
Well, you seem to run away with that one. It was all going well for you.
Yeah, kind of speechless, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that at all. Like I said earlier, the engine wasn't performing how I wanted it to. So, yeah, I was planning for a very difficult, tough race, and instead it was the complete opposite. And it was quite lonely, to be honest. And I wouldn't say easy because I still had to go, but it definitely wasn't as tough as having 10 Mazdas around you. So, yeah, I'm pleased.
I think with the technical issues you seem to be having, that's the best you could wish for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once a car's going, it's going, but when cars are around me, it's so tough, and so that was the perfect situation for me, and I'm pleased with what it's got. So we'll see how the A race goes now.
Yeah, onwards and upwards for race 3, yeah?
Yeah, hopefully it goes well.
So you seem to leave that one out the way to the last lap. Do you want to talk us through your race?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have the best of starts. I think we started in P4, by the first corner we were down in P6, P7, so it wasn't the best, but I clawed my way back throughout the race. We was down in power throughout the duration of the race, so it wasn't ideal, but managed to get a second in the end, so pretty happy.
So it was all in the corners for you then, having no power?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was getting dropped left, right and centre down the straights, so I was all out to make it up all in the corners. I mean, we had the pace earlier on in the day, in race 1, and in qualifying finished in P3, but then we had an engine blowout halfway through race 1. So yeah, we had to change engines and now not quite where we want to be.
It's not quite the weekend you wanted, but a podium's not to be sniffed at. Are you looking forward to race 3?
Yeah, definitely. Starting from the back, so in the A race, so yeah, I think we can make up quite a few places as long as we get this problem sorted.
Awesome, well congratulations again on the podium and have a good day.
Brilliant, thank you.
But you must have spent the best part of your race looking in that rear view mirror.
Yeah, it's about right, to be honest. Yeah, every time I looked in my mirror, it was a different colour car, so I didn't know where they were coming from, left and right. But yeah, it was. They made me work for it, but enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I mean, you lost the second position on the last lap, but podium's a podium at the end of the day.
Well, that's right. Third is fantastic. Started from 7th, had a good start, and like I say, I'm second for such a long time, and it just got me round one last corner, and that was it. So, but I tried to battle it, but I couldn't get him.
You're looking forward to race 3?
Definitely, yeah. Move on into Group A and hopefully move up the field a bit.
Excellent. Well, congratulations again on the podium.
Cheers. Thanks ever so much.